So there's 3 things that I have done for my own playing and have shown my students that has helped them tremendously when it comes to breaking out of that pentatonic box. Out of the many ways I've personally tried and have also taught others how to do it, these 3 seem to be the most effective. So after watching this video, you'll have a few things that you can start doing to help you get out of that pentatonic box and help you solo all across the fretboard. They're going to be really quick and easy tips that anybody can do. And I'm going to do this in a certain order so each tip will lead into the next. So make sure you stick around for the last tip where it will all tie together and ultimately just be a lot easier for you to understand. So let's start with the first one. So we all know this first pentatonic shape. And this is what most of us want to get out of. Now, believe it or not, I think that your first step before trying to break out of the box is to see what else you can play within it. For example, you can learn the blues scale with that added flat 5. Or you could learn the true minor scale where the pentatonic actually comes from. What this can do is give you more notes to work and mess around with. When guitarists say that they want to go outside of the box, what some don't realize is that when they do go out of the box, they'll still be playing the same exact notes. The guitar is just a repetitive pattern of whatever scale you're playing with, and in this case, the pentatonic only consists of 5 notes. Now, how you play those notes, the different techniques you use, and other things like that will help make those notes sound different, and there's tons of ways you can do that, but that is for another video. So the point here is, it's best to really understand and know the notes you are playing, and see what other notes you can add in a specific position or scale. Now, learning the 5 different pentatonic positions is an obvious thing to do, and I definitely highly recommend it if you don't know them. But if you do know them, learn where the blues note and those minor scale notes are from within each of those positions. I have a free PDF of all this down in the description, the 5 positions of the pentatonic, the blues scale, and the natural minor scale. So the first tip is to start with that first pentatonic position that we all know and learn where you can play those added notes from those other scales. There's tons of other scales you can do this with, but start with the blues and the natural minor scale. When you learn to combine those notes from those scales, practice them by playing over backing tracks on YouTube. When you practice with that flat 5 from the blues scale, look up a blues backing track. And when you add those natural minor scale notes, then obviously practice over a natural minor backing track. I actually picked out 2 of them already for you to practice with. I linked them down in the description. So once you practice that by figuring out what other notes you can play within that box, you can then move on to the second tip, which I think will give you the best results. So what you can do is break down any of the pentatonic positions that you want to practice with and only solo or practice using 1 or 2 of the strings from that scale. So for example, using the first pentatonic position, only solo and practice using the B and high E string at first. And then once you get that down, move on to the G and B strings, then after that, the D and G strings, so on and so forth. This will quite literally force you out of that box position because you're now limited to the strings you can use, which will make you find other notes that work on those strings. This is also really helpful when it comes to coming up with new guitar licks. When you can only play 1 to 2 strings, your approach will change and force you to experiment with different note selections. I know this kind of sounds stupid in a way, but trust me, it really does work wonders. It will help you move along the neck, and when you do this to all of the strings, it will eventually help you connect the dots and be able to solo all across the fretboard. Now, if you're enjoying this lesson and find it helpful, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below so you can see when I post more videos just like this one. I'll also link some other videos that I've done that relate to the soloing and improvising down in the description, so make sure to check them out after learning this third and final tip. Now, as I mentioned earlier, the pentatonic scale only consists of 5 notes. So when you play that first pentatonic position, you're technically playing it twice in 2 different octaves. So if we just play the scale for what it is, we can do this all over the neck in different positions. So for example, we will be playing this everywhere we can. Just find the root note of whatever key you're playing in on each string and then play the remainder of that scale. Now, doing this can help with your ear training when it comes to listening and making sure you're playing the correct notes from that scale. It can also help you visualize the fretboard a little bit better and understand where certain notes are on the fretboard. All of those positions I just played are universal for all keys. So once you sort of memorize and know these newer scale positions, you can play them in any key. Now, an honorable mention tip that can really help with all of this is learn and know all the notes on the fretboard and learn what notes are in the pentatonic scale of whatever key that you are playing with. When you know that the notes A, C, D, E, and G are within the A minor pentatonic scale, and you're familiar with where all these notes are at on the fretboard, you will have no problem playing them all over the neck. So on top of these 3 tips, make sure you learn that as well. Like I said earlier, I have more lesson videos that you can check out that will help you with more of these things. I'll link them in the description, and you can also check them out right here. Thanks for watching this week's video. Let me know what other lesson videos you would like to see me do on my channel down in the comments below. I'll see you in the next one, and don't forget to keep on playing.